This is Learning Curves and Coffee, where we skip the perfection, spill the real, and talk parenting, teaching, and personal growth over a hot cup. I'm Ivory, a mother, edupreneur, and your caffeinated co-pilot through the meltdowns, meetings, and magical moments. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back. I want to jump right in and talk about something we don't talk about enough. Reading struggles are never just academic, they are emotional too. They reach into children's confidence, their self worth, their willingness to take risk. And too many kids internalize reading struggles as failure, as I'm not smart, as something is wrong with me, as everyone is moving forward except me. But shame is not a strategy. Shame shuts kids down. Shame kills curiosity. Shame makes a child feel small in classrooms where they should feel limitless. And reading, the foundation of almost everything in school, becomes the place where kids learn how to hide instead of learning how to grow. I think we all have these formative years experiences. I certainly remember as an elementary school kid. I am lucky and grateful in that I've always been a reader. I always knew how to read really well. I can't remember a time when how it started. I just knew that I always read. My mother would take me to the bookstore with her and allow me to pick out a book. And, I was a reader from a very early age. And so even in elementary school, I remember my peers, they would struggle and they would quietly ask, how do you spell this? Like they would ask me. And so I would give them the word and language on how to spell certain things. And so those were my formative years. But I do remember seeing a lot of my peers when we were 8, 9, 10 years old, being asked to read out loud and feeling shame about it or getting laughed at because they didn't know how to pronounce certain words. And so this is pervasive and it has been going on for decades. It's not new, but we know that now more than ever, it has become a true barrier for children, especially and sometimes more often than not, are children who are already struggling with language barriers as being on the autism spectrum. I once worked with a student who hid books under his desk, not because he didn't want to read, he loved stories, but because he didn't want his friends to see the level he was reading at. He'd slide the book inside a bigger book like he was smuggling state secrets. He probably, his problem wasn't his ability, it was embarrassment. He wasn't ashamed of reading. He was ashamed of being seen as struggling, right? And that right there is where so many kids get stuck. Kids don't shut down because they can't read. They shut down because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to feel singled out. They don't want reading to become another reminder of what they think that they can't do. When a child hides their struggles, they're not avoiding learning, they are avoiding the shame. So, of course, let's ground this in research. 1 in 5 children show characteristics of dyslexia. This means struggling readers are not the minority, they actually are the norm. Students who feel shame around reading are 3 times less likely to participate in class reading activities, not because they don't care, but because their nervous system is saying, protect yourself. Early intervention improves outcomes by up to 70%, especially when kids receive explicit systemic phonics support, which is how I designed the Phonics Flow curriculum, inspired by the Khalil's Journey children's books that you can find in the link below. So, when you treat reading struggles like a moral failing or a laziness issue, You're not just harming their literacy, you are also impacting their identity. So before you label or redirect or assign extra practice for a child, pause and study the root cause. What is the real struggle? Is it decoding? Is it attention? Is it memory? Language processing, meaning like being able to look at it and understand the meaning behind it. Visual tracking, is it anxiety? Is it lack of exposure? Is it lack of confidence? You have to find the root cause in order to support a child. You can't support what you do not understand. Oftentimes when I'm working with Khalil at home on his academics, I focus on like what is the barrier. He runs away or avoids things that he can't pick up easily in the moment, and so I have to build, I know then like I need to build his confidence in this area so that he's willing to take the risk. He also struggles with attention. His attention span is short, and so I know that I need to make sure that I work with him academically in small pockets, right? And so finding the root cause is half the battle. Acceptance. Behavior is often communication. It's not defiance, and so avoidance is not defiance. It's fear. It's protecting. It's your child saying, "I don't want to feel inadequate today." How many messages do they get that make them feel inadequate or believe that they are incapable, whether intentional or not intentional? So once you accept that, you stop personalizing their behavior, because their behavior is barely about you. It's more about how they're experiencing the situation. And then start strategizing around that, because truly learning should be fun. It should not feel like a chore. And then and when it comes to the embracing piece, lead with strengths, not struggles. Reading is one skill. It is not the sum total of intelligence. There are actually multiple intelligence, right? And so when you affirm the whole child, their creativity, their humor, their ability to problem solve, if they exhibited a leadership skill, their ability to memorize things, their brilliance overall, they begin to believe that they are capable of growing in other areas instead. Shame shuts down the brain, period. And so safety turns the lights back on. Celebrating the strengths is a celebratory act. So as we close this out, I want to give you some practical strategies at home if you are a parent, and at school if you are a teacher, to help the students who struggle with reading. First of all, normalize the struggle. Tell them a lot of brilliant kids learn to read different. It's okay. Say it until they believe it. Say it over and over and over. It may sound corny, but literally every day I have Khalil repeat, I am smart, I am kind, I can do anything. Kids internalize your tone before they internalize your instruction. Number two, use decodable text. Break it down. Decodable text equals early success. Early success equals confidence. Confidence equals willingness to keep trying. Don't hand a beginner a text that they cannot read. They're going to get intimidated. They're going to shut down. That's not rigor, that's sabotage. Number three, celebrate progress, not perfection. You know that P word, thorn in my side. We don't do perfection, we do progress. One word improvement. Celebrate it. If that child has now learned how to decode a word that they did not know how to decode last week, that is a huge win. One word, a sentence that was read smoothly, celebrate it. That child was not able to do that before. One page tackled without avoidance. That is a huge feat. These are breakdown strategies that can support your child long term. Reading progress is measured in increments, not in miles, okay? Number four, my personal favorite, read with them, not at them. Shared reading removes the pressure. Kids learn rhythm, they learn patterns, and they learn stamina by co-reading with the support of adults, right? So read aloud, say those words enthusiastically if you notice that a child has paused and wasn't unsure how to say it, right? Remove the public performance. Number 5. Stop putting kids on the spot for oral reading aloud unless they volunteer. Those traditional settings of reading out loud, making a child read out loud, is rooted in shame and is not effective. If they volunteer, give them the platform. High pressure reading moments trigger shame. Low pressure practices nurture and growth. A nurtured brain is a learning brain. Give them small spaces where they can learn, try again, and stretch without an audience. A regulated system is a key to the learning process. So I want to close with this. When you shift from shame-based reading to strength-based reading, you teach kids something far more valuable than phonics or fluency. You teach them resilience, you teach them self-worth, you teach them that struggle is not identity, it's information. Okay, it's okay to struggle. Now we know where the struggle is, and we have to find out why it is a struggle, and then we will work on making it less of a struggle. Kids who feel safe will soar. Reading is a journey, it is not a race. Every child blooms at their own timeline. And let me be very clear, as an adult who's worked with children and coached adults, children aren't the only ones who struggle with literacy. And so we know that this is a journey for everyone. So if you are a teacher or a parent, remember, when you remove shame and when kids discover the joy of reading and the joy of curiosity, then their ability to learn grows, their worthiness grows. And that's the real victory. So until next time, be not a marathon. Find the root cause. Every child is capable of learning when they feel safe. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye. This is Learning Curves and Coffee.